Breath of the Wild is awesome, but I'm sure you already know about that. Zelda has always been a series about exploration, and Breath of the Wild managed to elevate that to a whole new level with its massive open world. However, this game took it a step further with highly detailed ruins which can be found all across the land, whether it be the Sheikah technology or Zonai structures. There's a chance that you've seen these symbols before on the former, as they are commonly found in the game's shrines. Similar to ancient Hylian and Gerudo script, these symbols are of the alphabet and can be translated to English, and almost all of them form coherent words, meaning that they can be translated for us to understand. For today's video, I decided to find and translate as many of these texts as possible so you don't have to. I didn't want to miss any, so I did some research to find all of the ones I didn't find in game, meaning that not all of the following were translated by me. And obviously, I wasn't the first person to find these. I'll have a link to the page documenting all of the Sheikah translations found as of this moment. We might as well start from the very beginning. Right after Link wakes up, he gets the Sheikah slate and the door leading to the next chamber opens. There's some text on the very bottom, and translating it tells us that it says "shut out." This type of door can also be found in other shrines. And along the side of Link's bed, there's some more Sheikah text. It's hard to read given the small size, but it reads out as "care unit." But the shrines themselves have a lot of Sheikah script, some exclusive to individual dungeons. The doors that open up when Link shows his Sheikah slate spell out the word dungeon. This is also displayed on the elevator that takes you down to the chamber, as well as the walls of the shrine. The edge of the circular platform that brings you down translates to moving plate. We can find a few other interesting things within the Omen Ao shrine. There are giant metal plates which can be moved via magnesis or stasis. The edges of them translate to plate. I believe these are the same ones that you occasionally find in the overworld. This same message is also on the side of the secret door you open to enter Koga's arena. One interesting object to discuss is the distilling stone. You use this for many reasons, whether it be adding a rune, map data from a tower, or restoring the camera and album of the Sheikah slate. Now, there's a lot going on in the background, but if we take time to translate different parts, it reads, "and you can master using it, and have this." If we rearrange it, you'll notice that it's a direct reference to the first Zelda game on the NES. You may run into the occasional metal door in one of these mini dungeons. On the hinges, we see the following that reads inward once the text is rotated. If we head to Rito Village and enter the Ak Vakwa shrine, you'll notice that these bars have Sheikah script. This is found in multiple shrines, and it means shutter. Makes sense considering it is a door of sorts. But what's rather strange is how the same structures are within the Hateno Tech Lab. If the shrines were only accessible once Link activated the Plateau Tower, how exactly did Pura get her hands on these? At the very end of each shrine is a pedestal which holds a Sheikah monk. The following tile below always reads Gio and Ayal, so goal. Something similar is engraved all over the pedestal and translates to goal point. One of my favorites is in the shrine where you get the stasis rune. There are giant gears that feature Sheikah language in between the teeth. R-O-T-A-T-E. Rotate. The Ken Amut shrine has a door that you must push up with Cryonis, translating to slide up. Very fitting when you think about it. Sometimes you'll come across the apparatus shrines. These are dungeons that use motion controls in the puzzle. All the terminals used to activate gyro controls have Sheikah text that translates to gyros. A lot of these shrines tend to have paths engraved into the floor for the player to follow, along with Sheikah script. Two separate phrases can be made out from this. Period, move, period, and move on. We're almost done with all of the shrine translations, just a few more to go over. If you explore the Dueling Peaks shrines, you can interact with tablets that say the following. But this isn't what they actually say. Rows 1 to 3 translate to read, me, and hint. There are some giant switches in the Jihara dungeon that translate to stake switch. In Barita Neg, you are supposed to hit buttons on walls with a cannonball. The words dungeon and cannon are found on the mechanisms that launch the projectile. There's a ramp exclusive to the Rock Uog shrine that is engraved with Sheikah script, and translates to go ahead. And finally, there's a mini dungeon close to the Woodland Stable where you play some games of golf. Both sides of the archway above the hole translate to goal. The Sheikah slate itself has some interesting secrets. When you go to the rune page, you can choose what rune is currently active. Below each one is some Sheikah text. If you notice, the last 4 characters of all the runes remains the same, and reads item. The script before this depends on where the rune is in relation to the others. For example, the one taking the slot to the furthest left says first item. On each page of the slate, there is horizontal text along the top and bottom, which spells out Sheikah slate. There is some other script that blinks in the background, but it doesn't spell out any coherent words or phrases. The map itself has quite a bit of Sheikah text to go over. To the left, we can see 3 rows that translate to the following: clock, thermometer, and achievement. The right has one line of script here which reads Sheikah sensor. Nothing strange about this since it makes sense, but something you may have never noticed was how each location marked on the map has some Sheikah script directly below. The following are every single word that the script will translate to. So 2 locations that are named differently but share the similarities of a mountain will have mountain below in Sheikah text. The same thing goes for bodies of water or regions. But here is one of my favorites. When you first get the Sheikah slate, there are 2 pages missing because of the relic being partially damaged: the album and Hyrule Compendium. You can still access these pages, but they will be met with a blank screen. You can only restore them once you head to the Hateno Ancient Tech Lab. But there's also this part at the top which shows Sheikah script instead of the proper text. But guess what? These still translate to album and Hyrule Compendium. This is really cool because it means that if someone knew about Sheikah script and cared enough to translate them, that they would know what these missing pages were supposed to have. It's one of my favorite translations since it rewards players who pay attention to these subtle details. There's a bunch of other ones that don't really fall into their own category, so we'll go over them right now. I'm sure you already know the room beneath the sanctum that has script on the floor and walls. This all translates to laboratory. All of the travel gates in the game, those glowing panels that let you teleport, all say the phrase calling. Every single area that you can teleport to has this panel with the exact same Sheikah text, even including the travel medallion. Well, with the exception of one we'll go over a bit later. There's another reference to the first Zelda game when you read the script on the beacon lights that appear after placing pins. It translates to, "It's dangerous to go alone," which is said by the old man in the cave that gives you the sword. All the ancient orbs, despite their size or purpose, say the same thing. Stone sphere. The pedestals, which are usually connected to shrines, have text on the outer and inner sections. One reads Stone Sphere Socket, while the other is just Socket. If you go to the Akala Ancient Tech Lab, you can see some script on the base of the ancient furnace. It's very small, but we can faintly make out the word cherry. This makes sense because that is the name Robbie gave the furnace. Last but not least is the top of the Sheikah towers. This is what it reads. However, there are 2 letters cut off from each side. Adding them spells out Sheikah Tower. Now it's time to talk about the DLC items. The stand that holds the one-hit obliterator translates to take it. The exterior of all of the shrines involved in the Champion's Ballad quest read out the Brave Trial, which is written multiple times. Sometimes you'll be challenged with traveling through rings to uncover these shrines. There's some script on the outer edges that says 9876543210. This is a timed mission, and since they disappear, we can assume it's a countdown. There's one mission in Tabantha where the puzzle is shooting Dinrail's horns. This Sheikah text translates to horn. There's a lot of text on the arena of Mazkoshia's battle. Most of it is the phrase trial, repeating over and over. But this floor also has the following, which others have pointed out to be the 9-syllable seals. I don't know anything about it, but perhaps it's something to look into for another day. The map of the final Divine Beast has 4 Sheikah letters that read out as NESW. Given their placement, we can assume it means north, east, south, and west. But one of the biggest mysteries is the lock on the door to the monk. Each one has a single letter. The letters used are WAEF. This perplexed me. I mean, they had to do with the Divine Beast somehow since each room was dedicated to a certain theme. But after talking to someone, I found out that this mystery was solved. Each letter represents an element pertaining to a specific Divine Beast. Water, air, earth, and fire. I don't know who it was who first discovered this, but it certainly wasn't me. Oh, I actually forgot some. Remember how all the travel gates say calling? That's excluding the ones for the divine beasts, which translate to transport. Naburus also has 2 that are exclusive to that dungeon. The rails and the humps repeat the phrase line, and the platform that moves between them translates as move. The last one is pretty big, and unlike the others, I didn't test out the validity of it. It was on the wiki page, so it could be wrong, but everything else has checked out so far. Instead of the Sheikah text translating to English, the one found on the Tapestry enciphers a romanization of Japanese text. Here's the translation of the Sheikah script and the Japanese, and the following is what it's supposed to say when translated to English. Long ago, in ancient times, a kingdom prospered in the land of Hylia. Many people/citizens lived there, and civilization was cultivated. The Sheikah tribe brought technology that is advanced. Doing this provided help for sealing the calamity. The hero and the holy princess attempt to seal it. In Hyrule, the calamity is called Ganon. Divine beasts are placed in 4 directions, and a mechanical army is distributed. The royal family fear and exile the Sheikah tribe's power. At the end of this, the Sheikah scatter/disappear. So it's essentially another version of the story 10,000 years ago. This is technically the 3rd version, as we got one from both Impa and Cass. And that's it. As of today, this is all the Sheikah text that has been found and deciphered. I do want to add a bonus one though, as the Great Plateau stage in Smash Bros holds a secret. The platform has some Sheikah script that translates to Smash Bros. So that's pretty neat. Aside from that, thanks for watching this video. At first it started as a shorter episode, but after finding the page online I was able to add stuff I missed in my searching. More Zelda videos as well as some Pokemon uploads are planned for the future, so that's something to look forward to. Special thanks to my patrons, you are all the best. Links below to my Patreon, Twitter, Discord, and I will see you guys next time.